sesión de preguntas y respuestas. De los medios, tenemos a alguien por acá, alguien que me indique, sí, para que tengan los micrófonos, por favor. ¿Ya tienen a alguien allá? Adelante. ¿Me das tu nombre y el medio al que representas, por favor, si todos ustedes nos presentamos?
Hola, ¿qué tal? Buenas tardes, desde Sin Escape. Bueno, pues haciendo un poco de historia. Ahí, ya. Bueno, haciendo un poco de historia solo en esta cuestión de los Oscars, Orson Welles y Charles Chaplin ha sido nominado en cuestión de guión y actor. ¿Cómo se siente Sylvester Stallone en este ámbito y además también a lo largo de su historia, en qué disfruta más en cuestión de rodaje, en el set o en la locación?
A ver, ¿me puedes repetir tu nombre?
Rolando Martínez.
¿De qué medio?
Sin Escape.
Ok, la primera parte de la pregunta, porque con el problema de audio no te pude captar.
¿Me escuchas ahí?
Sí, perfecto.
Esta onda de haciendo un poco de historia a lo largo de las nominaciones del Oscar, solo Orson Welles, Charles Chaplin y Sylvester Stallone han estado nominados en la categoría de guión y actor. ¿Qué siente en esta cuestión? Y la segunda parte de la pregunta es ¿qué disfruta en sus filmaciones más filmar en locación o en set?
Hi. Okay, he's asking which thing do you enjoy more, being in the set or at the locations, as the first part of the question. And he says that Orson Welles and Chaplin, they were nominated for the Oscars with as scriptwriters and actors, and you were also nominated. What do you feel about this?
The first one is whether I like the set or location.
Sí, es que es lo mismo set y locación. Sería...
No, no es así.
Set or location.
Yeah.
Set or location.
There's nothing better than working on location because it's more realistic. You get the sense that you're actually performing in a real film as opposed to a set, which can be fantasy and not quite as inspiring. And as for Orson Welles and Charlie Chaplin, when I heard that, I was incredibly humbled, and I realized how important it is to tell young actors and directors the power of writing, because if I could do it, that was something that could be an example for someone else, because that's how I got there, not through acting, but through writing.
Todos escuchamos, ¿verdad? Siguiente pregunta. Sí. A ver, por allá.
Buenas noches. Juan Manuel Badilla de la Internacional de Prensa. Soy muchos años ya en el ring, en el cine, claro está. ¿No será ya tiempo de retirar a Rocky Balboa de los escenarios del ring, sacarlo de boxear? Esa es la pregunta.
If you're thinking about retiring Rocky Balboa. The character, yeah.
What do I think about it?
Yes, about retiring him.
Retiring
him. Yeah.
Retiring, yes. It was very, that was actually, I'll tell you why, he said hiring, retiring, firing. It was very, very difficult. The day we ended Rocky Balboa, it was on the steps and the snow was coming down. It's really the most important scene in the movie. And I got very, very, very sad, very depressed, because very rare, or maybe never, you find a character like that to play, where I can express every thought, every philosophical idea I had. But then I said I had to turn it around. I'm getting too depressed about this. And I said, this has got to be a great day, because this character lasted 36 years. And here it is. And it's ending in the snow. It's fantastic. So it's a minor miracle. So it was a good day and a horrible day. And we're also, what we're talking about, doing a little bit more with Rocky, there's a film coming out called Creed, based on one of the characters of Rocky, Apollo Creed. And he was Rocky's best friend, and he died in Rocky IV. And Apollo Creed's grandson wants to come back, and the only person that he can help him would be Rocky, who is now much older and not in very good health. And it becomes this father-son situation, which I thought would be very interesting because it's not a Rocky movie, but the character is still here for a young generation, 2 generations that weren't even born when it came out. So it's amazing how long the character is going. And then in March, the Broadway play opens of Rocky Balboa. So this character has been a minor miracle all the way.
La película que pretende filmar aquí en México, okay. If you can talk about the movie you're pretending to film here in Mexico. Y la segunda parte.
La parte de la serie de televisión de Rambo.
And the TV series also.
Rambo. Did you talk about Rambo? Yeah, Rambo, right? Right. Yeah, there is a chance, a small chance, that we may do a Rambo. Very small, because I've always wanted to do one in Mexico. And it's a natural place to do it because Rambo lives in Arizona, right on the border. So it'll be very, very close. But if that happens or doesn't happen, there's still the idea there's a Rambo television series that I would be helping to produce that has a very good chance of being done in Mexico. So a lot of it. So we're looking forward to working in this part of the world very soon.
That will be the Rocky the musical.
Yeah.
¿Sí?
Rocky the musical, yes. They want.
Acá, otra, por favor.
¿Qué tal? De este lado, over here. Mi nombre es Manuel Tejeda, del periódico Reforma. Quisiera preguntarle cómo va o cómo terminó la filmación de Los Indestructibles 3, y también quisiera saber qué le gusta más, que lo recuerden como sus viejos personajes o quisiera ser un nuevo personaje que quede en la memoria de toda la gente.
Qué gacho, me están aventando de a 3 preguntas en una. Ok. ¿Que cómo terminó la de los indestructibles? Sí, ¿cómo terminó la grabación? ¿Y la segunda parte?
¿Cómo lo recuerden más con los personajes anteriores o va a ser algún nuevo?
Ah, perfect. Okay. He wants to know how was the Expendables, the filming, how was it going, and how would you like to be remembered with an old character or with a new one?
Well, of course, I'd like to be remembered with the old character because I doubt I'll ever find anything like Rambo or Rocky again. It's very, very rare. And the Expendables, which is now the 3rd one, is by far the best one. In the first one, we weren't sure what we were doing. Is it a drama? Is it more comedy? And we were experimenting. It was very, very difficult. We didn't have a lot of money or a lot of time. Then the second one, we brought in Arnold and Bruce and more characters and made it a little bit more comedy. And I think we made it too funny or too silly sometimes. Even though the action was okay, it just didn't have the right tone. This one, we now brought in many actors like Mel Gibson and Antonio Banderas and Harrison Ford and Wesley Snipes, his first film in 3 or 4 years. So this film, and 5 young, new Expendables, and myself. So this one here has all the potential of being by far the best. It's the most expensive, the biggest, and I think it's the most soulful one. Has the most emotion to it. So this one, I think, is going to be fantastic.
Robert De Niro, for being in your movie. There's a lot of action hero movies, and you choose him. Why is that?
You mean for Grudge Match?
Exactly.
Well, the idea is that if you can take 2 iconic characters, if I can call it that, and bring them up to 2014, that would be kind of interesting. And the characters that I've always been compared to, they'd always say, can Rocky beat Raging Bull, Rocky beat Raging Bull. And I would say it's ridiculous because, of course, Rocky can beat Raging Bull because Rocky is fantasy, you know, so you can't hurt him, right? But then we thought, what an interesting idea for a movie to take these men, because men, no matter how old they get, especially if they've been athletes, inside they still feel the fire of competition. But these two characters have messed up their whole life. They've been bad in relationships, they had drinking problems, they spent all their money. So now, this is a movie about going back and fixing all the mistakes they made and having this one last battle over this girl that broke them up originally. So it's an very interesting movie, and the fights.
En el programa de Hablemos, de la BBC.
Bueno, primero la Breaking Bad. What's your opinion about Breaking Bad, if you saw Breaking Bad, and the second was about Graham Norton? A ver.
Bryan Cranston, el actor que acaba de ganar el Globo de Oro, que fue protagonista de Breaking Bad, declaró algo muy parecido a lo que declaró él, que nunca iba a tener un personaje como el de Walter White, el de la serie. Quería preguntarle si vio Breaking Bad, si vio el trabajo de Bryan Cranston, si es difícil para un actor encontrar precisamente ese personaje.
Did you saw the series of Breaking Bad and this guy, what's his name? Bryan Cranston. Perdón, es que se está viendo el de atrás, pero no la vi. No, sorry. Entonces, y quiero saber.
Say, wow. I think that it's every profession has a certain kind of difficulty that comes with it, and my difficulty, like the bankers have, you know, they're constantly being audited, or there's people coming.
Eso, y bueno, cómo se desenvuelve en la comedia un actor como él, digo, se recuerda en Oscar, Tango y Cash, y con esta última que con Robert De Niro.
Cesar from the Universal. What do you feel about killing somebody in the movies, in the film industry?
I feel about killing somebody?
Yeah.
Wonderful, very good. Better them than me.
And how do you feel doing comedy?
With what?
Comedies. Like that?
Comedy?
Yes, sir.
Oh, well, comedy is medicine that everybody needs to get through life. So it's very, very important. And to come up with a great comedy is fun. That's why I like when I did Grudge Match with De Niro. There's a lot of comedy in that. And I thought that's what was so enjoyable. But there's different kinds of comedy. You can even find comedy, believe it or not, in Breaking Bad. It's a dark comedy, but there's different levels of it. So comedy is incredibly important. It really is important. That's why it's when you find a great comedy, take it and make it if you can.
I'm wondering, talking about fights, talking about battles, what is the most challenging, the most difficult fight that Sylvester Stallone has faced in your entire life?
In my real life?
Yeah.
Well, God, we could be here for years. You know, you have different fights. You have fights when you're very young about in the family. How do you find love? No love is difficult, so you have no identity, and everybody grows up with a kind of insecurity. And that insecurity never goes away. I don't care how big and popular, everyone always has that spot inside that is never going to get, it's like a baby's head, it never gets hard though. And that's called insecurity. That starts as a child. So the biggest fight, besides just living with pain sometimes and tragedy, but the fight that you have with yourself, I think, that never goes away is the one that is the sense of insecurity, sometimes loneliness. How do you fight that? And it never goes away. It's just something you try to manage like a cold, and then it comes back when you don't want it to. So that to me is the fight, and I know it sounds complicated that I fight all the time, and I think every performer does it, every human being has that problem, and it takes strength to overcome it, but it never goes away.
From Rumble here in Acapulco.
I remember watching the stuntman jump off the roof of Carlos and Charlie's a lot. You know, there was a great deal of craziness in the movie. With some very brave men. But I think the most amazing one was when we dropped. They actually took a waterfall and put so many bombs and gasoline, whatever. The fire actually blew up, and I had to dive off a waterfall. Otherwise, we'd very badly burned. That was amazing. That was unbelievable. So I have that memory, and I have the memory of taking the helicopter, and we're flying into the village where I'm trying to save the prisoners, and the helicopter hits a tree. It's a tree, and I said, "Oh my God, Grandma's gonna die today." And it was like, pull this and come, get this stupid helicopter out of here, man. And we just managed to get over the trees and land. That's just a little too real for my blood. A little too real.
And I saw a pair of pictures with you at the Baby also.
You do?
Having fun in Acapulco.
Oh yeah, that's right, with baby oil, thank you. I did. I almost lived at your club, it was great, thank you. I wish I still could go to your club.
Well, thank you very much, Sir.
Thank you.